Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're gonna be talking about CDPR. So a lot of people are saying that 2022 is going to be a redemption year for this company because we have Cyberpunk Next Gen Edition coming out in the first quarter of 2022 allegedly, and we have The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition coming out in the second quarter of 2022 allegedly so far, without any new delays. And I wanted to weigh in on that situation because yes, truly this year we are expecting a lot from CDPR, and the definition of like redemption is different for people depending on probably where you have played the game or if you played the game at all, because obviously people who have played Cyberpunk on PC had the best experience. Now of course, like if you played on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, you still had a decent time, but you were still playing the backwards compatible version of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And because the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version actually suffered the most out of every single version out there, every single update which comes out for that, which ultimately, let's say, limits the amount of cars or people out in the road to basically conserve memory for the actual console so it can run it in decent frame rate, that also translates to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One version because it's running through that backwards compatibility, so it cannot fully utilize what PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have in their hardware to actually run it properly, and that's why this next gen upgrade is coming out. Now obviously the PC players are going to see the least of when it comes to graphical upgrades in this game, because that next gen is mostly being aimed for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But the other things which PC players are expecting obviously is the fixes when it comes to the mechanics in the game, introducing new stuff, and obviously fixing the issues that are still lingering even after like many previous updates and hotfixes they actually included. Now obviously how many of those mechanics are going to be introduced and what is going to be happening with this update is pretty much unknown at this point. A lot of people are considering this to be a relaunch of some sort. Now of course that a relaunch of the game would be nice, and that's something those leaks, which were proven as false, were actually talking about as well. So no, people are expecting that, but I don't expect the like a soft relaunch yet, or if that's gonna be happening in that way. They're probably they're gonna have a PlayStation 5 version, it might even have a new name, but when it comes to actual soft relaunch, I believe for those things to happen you would have to include a lot more things in the game in terms of mechanics and what people were asking for. So I doubt that things are going to be developing in that way. I think they are going to be including some stuff, but I'm afraid that those things will be coming in an expansion. Now of course, as I said before, like if you're gonna be introducing new mechanics into this game, it shouldn't only be through expansion, because expansions cost money, and mechanics that people want should be included in the game for free in the base version of the game. So I hope they do it, because honestly, why not? Development today and honestly supporting games today has changed, and I think more and more companies need to understand like how supporting games should be done today. Because if you have a big game today, people are gonna be playing it for years. So one of the coolest things you can do for those people is to give them something new from time to time. Now, wouldn't it be cool to actually have, like for example, a new expansion in The Witcher 3? I know like a lot of people would play it, and the numbers would still skyrocket if there was a new expansion for that game. Now I doubt, or well, I know it's definitely not happening. They're moving in, for their future projects, but it would be cool, because for example, it doesn't take much for someone to go back into the game. It can be just a small update. I know when for Gothic, just a small update came out, making it a bit more playable on Steam for newer systems. A lot of people came back into the game. Same for The Witcher 3, for example, because we have the Next Gen Edition coming out of The Witcher. And also, don't expect much from it. I know people have been having some wild expectations of improved combat and all of that. I doubt that those things are going to be happening. They said it's mostly a graphical upgrade, introducing ray tracing and sort into the game, and obviously increasing textures, but I really doubt that CDPR is going to be working on combat, because CDPR is not even porting this, it's Saber Interactive. They outsource this job to Saber Interactive, so I doubt that they are going to really change up the game too much in terms of mechanics and in terms of fighting and those things. I think when it comes to those upgrades, they're primarily going to be of a graphical nature, and yes, if you already own the game, it's going to be free for you. But I'm just saying is that that small upgrade and a few DLCs which they're gonna be releasing with that, which are going to be cross promotion with Netflix, brought a lot of people back and a lot of people are interested for it. And I do believe that if Next Gen Edition came out now in December when the second season of The Witcher came out, I'm sure it would have a lot of people, because even without it, like, The Witcher saw a new rise in people. You can actually see it right here. It has a little bit more people playing it, not as much as it was in the first season, because the impact of the first season of The Witcher was much bigger than the second season sadly was, and obviously that also translates to the amount of people playing the game. So putting in a DLC from time to time, a quest line, anything I think would be beneficial for the games. I think it's actually a really nice thing for the fans to do. Like, for example, Titan Quest. There are still expansions coming out for that game, and Titan Quest came out ages ago. Like, I was a kid playing that game, and I'm still playing that game with a new expansion today. So it's insane, like, how much are they still supporting that game. So I think that more companies today need to do that, because ultimately, if you do a little bit, like, a small things for the community, just a few things, you know, people are going to appreciate that, and people are going to say, ah, they actually care about us. So those are the things that I would love to see CDPR do in the future. But yes, these two things, if done correctly, if The Witcher comes out and doesn't have any issues, if Cyberpunk Next Gen Edition comes out and doesn't have any issues, it runs well, it's going to be like a first stepping stone. It's like, okay, a first stepping stone towards redemption, in a sense. Like, okay, now you're doing something, we can slowly bring back that trust. But trust has been ruined a lot with CDPR. It doesn't have to do anything to do with developers. It mostly has to do with management, with, you know, the CEO saying things which are not right. And that's something that I do believe that even today the Mr. Adam Kaczynski needs to cool down a little bit when it comes to, like, investors, because people listen to that and people take that. Like, I don't think they even understand how much people will cling on to something when you say it, because the moment you said it, it's out there, and you have to now, you know, live up to it in something. So I think a little bit more of a dose of, like, okay, let's see what happens, should be a little bit better for the entire company. That's something that they've been doing. Like, they have been very quiet for the past couple of months, and they've been very quiet, you know, since kind of Cyberpunk came out. It was kind of just a mix. You could have seen it, like, just a mix and just a change in social management and how they were actually doing their social. So yeah. Also, the biggest thing for this year, which I doubt is going to happen because I strongly believe that it's going to be delayed, is the first expansion for Cyberpunk. Now, I know that people hate me for this, but I said that I have a strong suspicion that the first expansion for this game is going to be delayed to 2023. It wouldn't be the first time. Blood and Wine, for the expansion for The Witcher, was also delayed, I believe, 2 times. I don't know for Hearts of Stone, but I know that Blood and Wine was delayed 2 times, and that was the expansion. So, you know, anything can happen. So I doubt that it's coming out in 2022. It might. Hopefully that's what they said. Now, are they going to stick with it? We don't know. But at least the first expansion can tell us a lot about where the studio is headed and what are their priorities for the game. Because honestly, we don't know their priorities for the game. It could be just bug fixing and that's about it. It could be bug fixing, introducing new things, and that's it. You know, we don't know that. We don't know the strategy. The only strategy they said was, oh yeah, you know, we're trying to bring the game to the levels that we're gonna be proud of. That can mean many things in the PR corporate terms. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. I do believe that CDPR has a very strong chance in 2022. There are also other games which are coming out from their studios group, the Molasses Flood. Actually, I'm really excited for that. Those guys are really technically, like, they're insane when it comes to, like, just the technical mechanical versions you know, of their games. If you haven't played before, just check out the Molasses Flood, check out their games, and you know, that can tell you what's gonna be releasing, because they were bought by CDPR and they are working on something in these 2 IPs. It can be either Cyberpunk or The Witcher, we don't know that. But They said that they're gonna be doing their own thing. You know, they don't have to worry about CDPR, but now they can actually work on their IPs, which is cool. But I doubt that's coming out in 2022. That's probably something for 2023. Again, it's a long time, but yeah, you know, we'll see. We'll see how much are they going to bring back, and when it comes to people, when it comes to everything, it's gonna be interesting to see. But again, I will be reporting on everything. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you want to stay tuned for the latest Cyberpunk and CDPR information, news and videos about everything. And yeah, this is LKM signing out. Stay classy, everyone. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. Again, as I said, stay classy, everyone, be good, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video. Also, apologies for the lack of videos, I'm back.